Hidden in southeast London, behind layers of reinforced concrete, steel fencing and constant surveillance, stands one of the most secure and controversial prisons in the United Kingdom, HMP Belmarsh. To those passing by, it may look like just another heavily guarded facility. But inside these walls exists a world that very few people ever see, a world defined by control, routine and consequence. Belmarsh is not an ordinary prison. It is a Category A high-security institution, a place reserved for individuals considered the most dangerous in the country. These are inmates who pose the highest risk to the public, to national security, or even to the stability of the state itself. And once someone enters Belmarsh, life changes in ways that are difficult to fully understand from the outside. But what is it really like inside? To answer that, we need to look beyond the walls, and into the system that built it. HMP Belmarsh opened in 1991, during a time when the UK was expanding its capacity to manage high-risk offenders. The goal was clear: create a facility that could securely contain individuals who could not be safely held in standard prisons. From the beginning, Belmarsh was designed with control in mind. Every aspect of its architecture reflects this purpose. High perimeter walls surround the complex, reinforced with anti-crime measures and monitored by advanced surveillance systems. Entry points are limited and heavily guarded. Movement in and out of the prison is tightly controlled, with multiple checkpoints and security procedures. Inside, the layout is structured to minimize risk. Different wings separate inmates based on their status, behavior, and level of threat. Access between areas is restricted, and every movement is logged and monitored. Nothing is left to chance. But security is only one part of the story. Because behind the systems, the cameras, and the locked doors, there are people. Thousands of individuals have passed through Belmarsh over the years. Some stay for short periods, awaiting trial or transfer. Others serve long sentences, spending years within the same controlled environment. Many of them arrive with reputations that precede them.
Check cell 1015.
Belmarsh has housed individuals involved in serious violent crimes, organized crime networks, and terrorism-related offenses. Its name has become associated with the most complex and high-profile cases in the UK justice system. This reputation has led some to describe it as the British equivalent of the most secure prisons in the world. But what does that actually mean for the people inside? Life in Belmarsh is defined by structure. Each day follows a strict routine. For inmates, time is not their own. It is divided, scheduled, and monitored. The day typically begins early. Cells are unlocked under supervision, and inmates prepare for the limited activities available to them. Meals are served at set times. Movement between areas is controlled and often escorted. For many prisoners, a significant portion of the day is spent inside their cells. These cells are secure, functional, and designed for containment rather than comfort. While conditions may vary, space is limited and privacy is minimal. In some cases, inmates share cells. In others, they remain alone. And it is in these moments of isolation that the psychological impact of imprisonment becomes most apparent. Extended time in confined spaces can affect mental health. Feelings of stress, anxiety, and frustration are not uncommon. Over the years, concerns have been raised about the effects of isolation and the challenges of providing adequate mental health support within such a high-security environment. But the experience of prison is not the same for everyone. Some inmates adapt to the routine. They find ways to structure their time, whether through reading, exercise, or participation in available programs. Others struggle. The combination of strict control, limited freedom, and the presence of other high-risk individuals creates a unique environment. One where tension can build beneath the surface. And when tension builds in a place like Belmarsh, it requires constant management. This is where prison officers play a critical role. Working inside a high-security prison is not a simple task. Officers are responsible for maintaining order, enforcing rules, and ensuring the safety of both staff and inmates. They operate in an environment where awareness is essential. Every interaction matters. Every decision can have consequences. It is a job that demands discipline, patience, and resilience. Officers must balance authority with professionalism, maintaining control without escalating conflict. In a setting where many inmates may already have a history of violence or defiance, this balance is not always easy to achieve. Despite the strict controls, incidents can and do occur. Disputes between inmates, acts of defiance, and moments of unrest are part of the reality of prison life. These situations are managed through established procedures, with the goal of restoring order as quickly and safely as possible. But beyond the daily routine and the security measures, there is another layer to Belmarsh: its role within the broader justice system. Prisons are not only places of confinement. They are also intended to support rehabilitation. In theory, this means providing inmates with opportunities to develop skills, receive
Control, Unit
education,
2,
and
report
prepare
on
for
Sector
life
7.
after release.
What's the
At
word?
Belmarsh,
Perimeter
such
breach. We need to check
opportunities
it out.
exist, but
Copy
they are
that. Let's
shaped by
move.
the constraints
Control,
of a
Unit 2 en
high-security
route to Sector. Stay
environment.
sharp. Motion
Educational
sensors tripped at the
programs,
east perimeter fence in
workshops,
Sector
and
7.
support
Could be an
services
animal,
may
but we
be
treat every
available,
alert as real.
but access
Do
can
the
be
cameras
limited.
show anything?
Security
Negative.
always
It's in a
comes
partial
first,
blind spot.
and
Pull up
this can
feeds from cameras
restrict
14 and
movement,
15.
interaction, and participation. This creates an ongoing challenge. How do you
Control.
balance
We have
the
a
need
visual
for
on a
strict
suspicious
security with the
individual in
goal of
Sector 4.
rehabilitation?
Request
It
immediate
is a
backup.
question that extends beyond Belmarsh, but it is particularly visible here. Public opinion on this issue is divided. Some argue that individuals held in high-security prisons should face strict conditions, reflecting the seriousness of their crimes. Others believe that even the most serious offenders should be given meaningful opportunities to change. Belmarsh sits at the center of this debate. Over the years, reports and inspections have highlighted both strengths and concerns within the prison. While its security is widely recognized, issues such as overcrowding, resource limitations, and mental health support have been raised. These are not challenges unique to Belmarsh, but they are amplified by the nature of the population it holds. And yet, despite everything, life continues inside. Within the walls of Belmarsh, a complex social environment exists. Inmates form relationships, establish routines, and navigate the unspoken rules of prison life. Respect, reputation, and behavior can influence how individuals are treated by others. It is a world with its own structure, one that operates alongside the official system. For those serving long sentences, adapting to this environment becomes essential. Time takes on a different meaning. Days are marked by routine rather than choice. Weeks pass without significant change. The outside world becomes distant, something remembered rather than experienced. Family visits, when allowed, provide moments of connection. Letters and limited communication offer a link to life beyond the prison. But for many, that connection fades over time. And so, the focus shifts inward, to survival, to routine, to getting through each day. Belmarsh is in many ways a place of extremes. It represents the highest level of security within the UK prison system. It deals with individuals considered the most dangerous. It operates under conditions that prioritize control above all else. But it is also a place where human stories unfold. Stories of actions and consequences. Stories of individuals facing the reality of their decisions. Stories of struggle, adaptation, and, in some cases, change. Not every story inside Belmarsh is the same. Some inmates will leave, eventually returning to society. Others may spend decades within the system. The outcomes vary, but the experience of being inside remains significant. And for those who have never seen it, Belmarsh remains largely invisible. It exists on the edge of public awareness, known by name but not fully understood. Yet its presence is important. It reflects how a society responds to its most serious crimes. It shows the measures taken to ensure safety and control. And it highlights the ongoing challenge of balancing punishment with the possibility of rehabilitation. Because at its core, Belmarsh is more than just a prison. It is a system. A structure built to manage risk, enforce consequences, and maintain order. But within that system, there are individuals. People who live behind those walls every day. People who experience the reality of confinement in ways that cannot be fully captured from the outside. And while the gates remain closed and the security remains tight, the question remains. What is the true purpose of a place like Belmarsh? Is it simply to contain, or is it also to change? The answer is not simple. But inside HMP Belmarsh, that question is part of everyday life. A place where freedom is restricted to the smallest details, where time moves differently, and where the outside world feels further away with each passing day. This is not just a prison. This is life inside Belmarsh.